And the story really started when in March 2017 in France we had a storm named Zeus that hit France with a very high speed wind, 130 kilometers. So I don't know what it is in other units, but it's serious wind. And unfortunately, the PV plant was hit by the storm with a lot of defaults. And this was the starting point of the story, because from this day, the plant, so you can see that I need to show my, sorry. So the storm is here, and from this point, of course, the performance of a plant decreased. But the storm arrived quite at very early stage of the plant. The plant was 3 months old. So, so for the clients, the client enters in this period of problem, recovery, and after a certain time, never really reached the performance he was expecting. And that's because of the storm, it focused on finding what's wrong. And in the mind of the client, the wrongdoing was the consequence of the storm. And that was what triggered the investigations, including the involvement of KilowattSol. Just for the record, the first thing we did as a technical advisor was to get a sort of a value of what the plant should be doing. So here, this is the plot of the 850 string of the plant on a hourly basis. So it's a starting point on what your eyes, I talk about this picture that's worth 1,000 words. Your eyes, like mine, can immediately see a series of things if we look at it. So the third thing we can see is that obviously not all the strings are following the same path. It means there is different behaviors within the plant. And another thing that struck us was somehow the thickness of the plot, because in a PV plant, a PV plant is something very basic. You've got a series of modules linked together. That's a string. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, whatever number of strings per input of your inverter. And after you've got 1, 2, 3, whatever the number of inverters. But if you are on a plain field, which is most of the time the case in the solar industry, if you are in your plain field, if all the modules, tracker or no tracker, are receiving the same amount of light from the sun, they should all behave the same. So they should. That's here that we introduced a clustering methodology. And the clustering methodology actually is doing what your eyes would be doing. With your eyes, you see the one that are alike and the one which are different. The thing we ask the system to do is definitely to let the machine cluster the packs, what is alike one color, what is another behavior, another color, and so on. And we let the machine operate with back and forth input from human beings, because, for instance, naming, labeling the string is something that only a human being can do. I can say, okay, I want to name this one as working fine, this one as working wrong. Here, the thing is, what your eyes are perfectly seeing, the fact that the blue curves and the red curves are different. It's complicated if you want to do that throughout a long period, because we are looking at a daily basis over a series of months, and it could, and for a large number of strings, 850 is here. So it could be complicated. So what we decided to do is what is called principal component analysis. It means that we were gonna reduce the number of dimensions. The typical day is 24 hours. I have 24 values. 24 values is a lot.
Visit Sinovoltaics.com to learn more.